Hi, welcome back. In this video, I'm going to start the how to make the Todo app using Spring Boot with Angular Material UI. So here you can see here, in order to do the task app, we have two entities. First entity is as employee, second entity is a task. So the entity employee consists of the following properties: employee ID, employee name, address, mobile, and active state. Task table consists of task ID, task name, description, and complete. So these are the following properties consist of employee table. These are the following properties consist of task table. So we have to make the relationship. In order to make the system, we need to make the relationship. So it's very simple. One to many relationship. In this scenario, one employee has many tasks. One employee has many tasks. So what's the relationship is one to many. So in this project, what is the relationship? One to many. One employee has many tasks. I hope you understand the things well. I will see in my next lecturing. Hi, welcome back. In our last video, we saw the introduction part of the Todo app. In this video, I'm going to create the new project of Todo app. So I'm going to go to the Google and type Spring Initializer. You select on this. Click on this link. It goes to the respective website to configure the project. So here, first I'm going to get the project Maven. After that, you have to select the language Java. So now the Spring Boot, we have to the default select the version, select as it is. Okay, we no need to change anything else. You have to select this one. Right. After that, what you are going to do is here, we have to select the project metadata. So here I'm going to create com. Here I've got project. I'm going to give the package which is project. Here I'm going to give the name as Todo app. I'm going to use Todo app. This is my project. So here, this how the package has been created. So this how the package is created. Com project Todo app. Right. So very simple. It is very simply we have to configure the project. Select as Java package version. Select as 17. Right. After that, we have to add the dependencies one by one. First dependency I'm going to add here as my SQL. This is a MySQL driver. This one. Second one I'm going to add it here as a JPA. Third one I'm going to add it as here as a JPA. Third one I'm going to add it as a web. These are the three dependencies I'm going to add it. So here click generate. Right. Now my project is generated. Here you can see here. Okay. Right. My project is generated successfully. I hope you guys you understood the things well. I'll see you in my next lecturing. Thank you. Hi, welcome back. In our last video, we saw how to create the project. So in this video, I'm going to teach how to open the project in our IntelliJ IDEA. Go to my downloadable folder. I'm going to right click and cut. I'm going to put it to my G drive. Here I'm going to right click here, new folder. Here I'm going to give the folder name is Todo app. Right. Inside the folder, I'm going to paste this file. This one. I'm going to extract the folder here, click OK. Now it will be extracted successfully. I no need this one. I just right click and delete it. Right. So this one I'm going to make it as right click. You have to go inside here. So this is my project. Right. So I just cut off this one. Cut this one. Paste it here. Right. Okay. So here, this one here. This is my project. Simple. This is my project. Right. So now what you're going to do, this project I'm going to open up my IntelliJ idea. So first what you're going to do, so I'm going to right click, rename. I'm going to make this one as a Todo App backend. Backend. Just name as backend. Press enter key. Right here, this is the backend part. The front end, which will be the Angular. So here, now I'm going to open up the VS Code editor. Sorry, IntelliJ idea. So open up the IntelliJ idea. File. Open. Select the G drive. Here where your project is resided, G drive. You can see here. I have created my project inside the G drive, which name is Todo App. So you can see, you can find the name Todo App. So you can see the Todo App, this one. You have to expand it. This is the project. You have to go inside the folder. This is my project, Todo App backend. You just click on, select this file here. You can go inside the folder, select this file, click OK. Trust project, get this window. Right. Now your project is open up the VS Code editor. You have to wait until the dependencies get installed. What are the dependencies you are given? This all the dependencies get installed. Here we have gave 3 dependencies. This all the dependencies. Here you will be able to see here it getting installed. So you have to wait until the dependencies completed. All the dependencies get installed. Now you have here your project has been created. Now you have to expand it. You can see here, so all the src folder you can see here inside the src folder main Java. Here your main method. If you open, this is your main method. Right? It successfully it will be open up on the IntelliJ. I hope you guys understood the things well. I'll see you in my next lecture. Thank you. Hi, welcome back. In our last video, we saw how to open the project in our IntelliJ idea. So in this video, I'm going to run this project. So if you run the project, first what you're going to do is, now we are in the main method here. Inside the package here, you can see this is the package we have created, com.project.todo.app. Okay, we have created. And this is the package we have created. Now, first I'm going to go to resources. Inside the resources folder, there is a file which is application.properties. We already studied these things. First I'm going to double click and go inside this file. Here I'm going to configure the project, the database configuration, all the things we have, port, project port and database configuration, all the things we have do at inside this file. So we studied this stuff in our last project. So I'm go back to my last project. I go to the application.properties. We no need to write again. We just copy this and paste it. We just copy and paste it because I already these things I already explained. That's why I just copy and paste it over here. Now here I'm going to make this project Spring application name as Todo App. It's a Todo App. Todo App. That's it. Now in the port I'm going to change it as 8075. You can assign any port. I just given as 8075. The first time I want to create the database, so I'm going to create. I'm going to create the database. So this is the driver. So the MySQL driver. We already inside the pom.xml, these are the dependencies we have downloaded: web, MySQL connector, JPA. These are all the things we have already discussed, so we no need to discuss more. Let's go to my application property. So this is driver, MySQL driver. Here we have a database path. So the database, this is the port. Our database name, I'm going to giving here as I'm going to give the database name as here Todo App. This is the database name I'm going to create. On the MySQL workbench, I'm going to create the database which is a Todo App. This is the name. This is the user credential of MySQL workbench. Root is the username, password is root123. This is a JPA configuration. You have to add this one. That's it. Simple stuff. Now let's run the app. Run the app. Now let me check. Here it's building. Now let me check is there any error while configuring the project. First you have to check it. Here there is no error. Here it's working. Here start Todo App. It's running perfectly well. I hope you guys understood the things well. I'll see you in my next lecture in Tech. Hi, welcome back. In our last video we saw how to run the project. In this video I'm going to teach how to create the packages. We already saw in our project in student credit application how to create the package. So these are the packages we have to create: config, controller, DTO, entity, and repo and service. So let me create it one by one. So let's back here. Select your Java folder inside your main package. Is a main package. Select the main package, right click, new package. First one is a controller. Press enter key. The controller package has been created. Select the package, right click. Second one is a controller. After that you have to create here as a service. The service. After that we have to create repo. After that we have to create another package which is a entity. After that we have to create another package which is a DTO. These are the package we have created. So now we have to create another one which is a config. Select the package. Here we have to give the name as config. Press enter key on your keyboard. These are the packages we have to create. I hope you guys understood things well. I'll see you in my next lecture. Hi, welcome back. In our last video we saw how to create the packages. Let's continue the video. Right, first these are the packages we have created. Now I am going to create the files. So first select the package entity. So here I am going to create the entity class. So select the entity package, right click, new, Java class. This one I am going to create as a employee. It's an employee class. Press enter key on your keyboard. It's an employee class. Now here first I'm going to, in this class, I'm going to add the annotation. It's the entity. It's very simple. Then you have to write this annotation here. You just add this annotation here. You can get it here. Entity. Perfect. After that, entity. So entities. After that, what you're going to do is here I'm going to create the columns. Entity is the entity mean which is a database table. It's a database table. So this database table, what are the columns I'm going to define? So first column, which is a employee ID. So your write is private private, you have to give the data type long. This one is a employee ID. Simply write employee ID. Second column, private string employee name. Employee name. Third column, private string address. The fourth column, I'm going to create private, you have to write another one is an int, you have to add this mobile number as well, which is an integer data type. After that, we have to write the active state, that is a boolean. Private boolean active state. That's it. These are the columns. Employee ID, employee name, address, mobile, and active state. Now here, employee ID, I'm going to add the primary key. So how to add the primary key, I already explained this one. And here there's annotation ID. Here this one. So ID annotation, you have to get this as an ID annotation. I have to get the ID. Second one, we have to generate the auto number increment. So auto increment. So how to generate the auto increment? So you have to add this annotation, generate value. Here you have to generate value, strategy, generate type. You have to select as here identity. This one. That's it. That's the thing you have to write. After that, you have to specify the column name which you created on the database table. So these are the, we have set as the API. Okay, the API we have to write like this. The database column we have to create as separate one. I have to create on the database table. So you have to specify the column name. You have to column, so annotation column. Here database table, I have to create the name which is you have to write the professionally, you have to write like this, employee ID. You have to write like this, employee ID. You have to give the length as well. Length we have given here as a 50. You have to give the 50. That's it. Okay, so here the employee ID consists of three parts. It's a primary key ID, which is a primary key. So auto increment. This is the column name, which is an employee ID. Right. Second one, so column name equal here employee name. Employee name, comma length 50. So same thing, just copy it, paste it over here. Here address, you have to write here as a column name is the address. Right, address we have to make it as this one as a 70 length. You just increase the length. Name I'm going to give as a 100 length. Right, we have to increase the length of the length. Address also we have to increase as 100. Perfect. Right. After that, we have to the mobile number. So mobile, the same column. This annotation just copy it, paste it over here. Here the column name I'm going to give here as a mobile. Length we don't need 100. We just make it as 20. Right, that's it. After that, we have an active state. So the active state also we have to write it here. Column name, which is I'm going to give as a active state. So here we have to, this is a boolean value, true or false. So you have to write it as a column definition. You have to write this as a inside the double quotation. You have to write tiny int. You have to write tiny int. You have to write default. Tiny int default one. You make it as 1. 1 means it is active, 0 means it is active false. It is a 1 mean active true, 0 mean active false. The simple stuff we have to create it. So employee table. So employee table consists of these following columns. The following columns. Now we have to generate the constructor. So click select here, right click, generate constructor. First is you have to blank constructor. You have to select none. So blank constructor. Second constructor I have to create as generate constructor. All the values we have taken. So hold on the shift key down. Select all the properties. Click OK. This is a parameters constructor. So we have to create 3 different constructors. Employee is a blank constructor. This all the property we have to get we have to get this constructor. Third one, right click, generate constructor. So we no need the ID. Okay, ID we are not getting the ID. Rest of the things we have to get it. So you have to select this one because ID should, when you save the record, so ID will be auto increment. So we have the rest of the values you are getting, the rest of the columns. So select from the employee name to active state, click OK. That's it. So we have to create the 3 different constructors. So we have a 3 different constructors. You have to create 3 different constructors. Right. Third one, we have to generate a get and set method. You select right, click on here, right click, generate getter and setter, select all the things, shift or the shift key down and select over here from the employee ID to active state, click OK. All the get and set method has been generated successfully. At the final step we are doing here is right click, generate. We have to implement the toString method. Select here, click OK. Right. Very simple stuff. We have implement the entity class. This how we have implement the entity class. We have implement the entity class. I hope you guys will understood the things well. I'll see you in my next lecture. Thank you. Hi, welcome back. In our last video, we completed the DTO section. Let's continue the video. So we have completed the NTTO and DTO. Now I'm going to go to the controller. So controller, I'm going to create the right click new Java class. I'm going to create the controller which is a employee controller. After that, you have to go to the service, the controller which is passing to service. When the request is coming from the DTO passing to the controller is passing to the service. So service we have to create here as Java class which is a interface. You don't select as a class which is an interface. So this one employee service. After that we have to create the another one that is a class employee service IMPL. Right. If you like, you will be putting to another package inside the service and you will be able to put it. Okay, so I have create both in the same package. It's no problem. So here we are inside the service, we have a employee service and employee IMPL. So we have to create another one, repo. So repo, service pass into the repo. Repo is the part where communicate with the database to add the record or edit the record and view the record via the entity, through the entity. So we have the repo. You have to create the right click new Java. This is Java class. You write a employee repo. That's it. I hope you guys you understood the things so far well. I'll see you in my next lecture in tech. Hi, welcome back. In our last video, we have created the classes and interfaces. In this class, let's run the application. So here in the application properties, here this is your database name. Inside the database, we have to create this all the tables. Let's run the application. Now you can see the console application. Let's see the console if there is any error or anything else here. Your table is created. Create table, employee, all the things are created successfully. Now how to implement this one? We already have to go to first go to application property. You have to copy this database name. You just control C to copy this one. You have to go to the here on your right hand corner. There's a database option. Click on this plus symbol data source. You have to select over here as a MySQL. You have to get this dialog box. Here this is a localhost. This is the port where MySQL work is running. This I already show. So I no need to show again. So here let me show again MySQL workbench here. Before you have to configure the port and all, you have to first confirm this is the port where your MySQL workbench is running or not. You have to check it. If the MySQL workbench is running on different port, that port you have to give on here. Then only it will be connected. Right? So here the root is a username while installing the MySQL workbench. Password is a root123. I have put it. The database name, what's the name you have copied over here? This name you have put it here. Right, that's it. Here this is MySQL workbench. You can see here this is a port where it's running here. Right? So after run the project, you can see in MySQL workbench. After run the project, you can see this all the table and the database and table is created. So here, what is the name of the database here? Todo App here. The database is created. Inside the database, we have a table is created. Tables, employee table has been created. Right? So we have to get them that table and database into here. So you have to define the localhost, the port, all things are this is database name. We have to check the test connection. The connection succeed. You get the success message. You have to press apply button and press OK button. Now here your database connection will be appearing on your right side. Now here this is a table. You double click on this is a table. All things are success. Your database and table is created. Now we have to make, after that you have to make this one as a, I want to put it this one as a update. The first time only we have to, when the database and table is created, we have to put this, that one is a create. After that you have to make it as update. Otherwise, if you have to add that new record, the database again your table and database is created. Right? So after that done the stuff, you have to make this one as an update. I hope you guys you understood the things well. I'll see you in my next lecture in tech. Hi, welcome back. In our last video, we saw the entity part. In this video, I'm going to teach a DTO. So this all the things I already explained. What is the entity and DTO? I no need to explain. So let's create the DTO of employee. So select the DTO, package, right click, new, Java class. Here I'm going to create as the DTO as employee DTO. DTO, which is nothing but the what is the record coming from the front end, it is coming via the DTO format. That's simple explanation of DTO. Right. Now this is the employee DTO. So the say how to create the DTO, I already explained the entity, go to the entity. What are the columns? This all the column I just copied, paste it over here. We no need that these columns and everything. We no need only the front end. These are the front end data is coming. This only thing we don't need this all the things. Right. This field names only we need. This field variable names only we need. Right. This is the employee DTO. Now I'm going to add the get and set methods and constructor. So we no need to add the way look like this. Okay, so instead of that, we have to add the dependencies. Right, so you have to create this way. Otherwise, you can create a dependency as well. Now here I'm going to create the dependency. So there are the dependency. I've already explained this one. Lombok, get Lombok Maven. You have to type Lombok. You have to get Maven. So this it will be goes to here. So select this one, the second one. Org here this one. Here I'm going to take this one. 1.17.22. This one I have took earlier as well. So I just take this one, click on this. These are dependencies. You just copy it. You just click, copy the clipboard. After that, back to my project form.xml. Here I have paste inside the dependency. The dependency starter and close it here. You have to paste it inside over here. What dependency you have copied. After done the stuff, you don't forget it. Here you have click on this button and you have to update the dependency. Then only the dependency is updated. Otherwise, it won't update. Right here, it updated. Right, it updated successfully. Right. After that, after done the dependencies, now back to your DTO your DTO file here. This one employee.dto. Here now you will be able to implement the annotations. Here at all arch comes here. You can see here. If you implement here, it's coming from where? Which package? Which dependency here? Which is a Lombok. You simply import it. All arch constructor. After that, no arch constructors. After that, we have a data. This is a get and set method which will be generated state. That's it. Simple. Very simple. Right. Now here, this is the DTO class. We simply have created. Very simple. We have to create the DTO class. Employee DTO. Now I'm going to create another DTO which is a employee set DTO. So select the package, right click, new Java class, employee save DTO. Press enter key. Now here in this class, you back to your employee DTO. We need only from employee names to active state. We are not taking the ID because ID is a auto increment, but we are generating the auto increment. But when you save the record, we are getting the employee name, address, mobile, and active state. Right? So the ID we are generated as a auto increment. So we have to get this value only. So I just copy it, paste it over here. Here also we need a this all the things. All arch constructor, no arch constructor, and I just copy it and paste it over here. That's it. How is it easy? Very simple. Now I need to create another DTO which is an update DTO. So select the DTO, new Java class, set employee update DTO. Employee update DTO, we need all the properties because we need a ID. Also, when you edit the record, we need a ID also. So we need all the properties. We just copy this one, paste inside here the one that's over here. After that, we have to go to implement this all the constructor annotation or all as constructor, no adjacent data. Just copy it, paste it over here. That's it. Simple. This is how we have created the DTO. I hope you can understand that one. We have created the three various dependencies, the three various DTOs. One is a employee DTO, employee DTO, employee save DTO, employee update DTO. I'll see in my next lecture in tech. Hi, welcome back. In our last video, we run the application and we have configured the database and tables. Now let's back to our controller section. Now here we have to do the CRED relational operation. All the things are over here inside the controller. So controller, when the data is coming from the front end, it is coming via the DTO format. It passes into the controller. So controller. First you have to add the annotation REST controller. These are the things I already explained. Second annotation is a cross-origin. Third one, request mapping. Here we have at the path. So add path API version is a URL employee. That's it. That's the thing about it. Right, now what you're going to do is we have to create the method. Now we have to create the method. We have to create the method, which is a save method. I'm going to create the save method first. We have to save the records. So first we have to implement the annotation. It's a post mapping. I discussed about these all things. Post mapping. You have to write path. Return the path. You have to write this one should save. Now here we have to create the function which is a public. Now we have to join two tables and get the record and everything. So here we have to get this one, the same the employee, this employee class we have to write is a employee. Here write save. You have to get the entity here, this entity. You have to get here employee save. You have to save the data, save employee. You have to write like this, employee. So this one, it asks to import the package. You have to select this one. Alt here it will be telling alt plus enter. It import the class. This class has been imported over here. After we have to create the method employee save employee. Here you have to write request body. Here employee save detail. This one employee save detail. Employee save DTO, right? Employee save DTO, open and close bracket, right? So when the data is coming from the front end, it is coming via the employee for a DTO format. The employee save this. It is coming here, right? After that, the data is coming to the controller. Controller is passing to a service. Controller passing to a service. So first you have to add the annotation auto where. Okay, you have to write private. Okay, you have to write Which one? Employee service. Service. This one. You create the object employee service. That's it. This one you have to write it over here. Return. You have to write this. Simply you have to write like this. Employee service. Employee service. Dot. We have to create inside the employee service. This employee service class we have to create the method add employee. Here simply create employee and employee. What is the data coming from the front end? It is coming here. The DTF format, save details format is coming here. It passing to here. We are passing this one. Copy and paste it over here. It is passing to here. That's the thing you have to write. After that, this method we have to create it on the add the employee method. We have to create it on the employee service. So click on this bulb symbol, create the method add the employee service. You click on this. Now here it has been created successfully. It has been created successfully. Now we have to go to the employee service IMPL. This is the interface. This is the interface. We have to. This is the implementation only. So here we have to go to the class employee service IMPL. We have to implements. We have to the implements. Which one? Which class I'm going to? The interface I'm going to implement. This one. Employee service. Employee service. That's it. If you are implement this one, but it show the error. What is the error is you click on this bulb symbol. It asks to implement the method. There is a method is there, so you have to implement it. If you implement this employee service, you have to implement this method. So implement methods, add employee. Click on this. That's it. That's the thing you have to write. Now the record is coming here. It is passing to the IMPL, employee IMPL. The IMPL, what we are going to do is, it is add the record into the database. So we have to communicate with the repo. Now let's move it to the repo, employee repo. Repo public. This is not a class. I accidentally created. This is not a class. I just remove it. Right click, delete. I accidentally create the class. So here we have to select the repo, right click new. We have to create as an interface. You have to select interface. Employee repo. So employee repo, which is an interface. Right. This interface, the interface we have to extend. We have a JPA repository, which is a JPA repository. Here, what you're going to do is you have to give the first one is your entity, which is a employee, and your ID, your first column, which is a primary key, which is a ID. What's the data type you are put it here, which is a long. If it is an int, you can put it as a int. If it is a string, you have to put it as a string. This is a long, so you have to write it here long. That's a simple stuff, right? Why we are putting here entity? We have to pass the entity class. In order to communicate with the database, we have the data will be communicate via the entity. So that we have to write the entity. The first data type says ID. What's the data type? You have to write long. So JPA repository. It is manage all the database queries here. All down the control. Here, click on this here. The save, delete, all the methods should be there. Get by ID, all the things should be there. This JPA repository. That's it. That's the thing you have to write it. Right. After that, we have to go to the service. IMPL. Here you have to add the annotation service, right? You have to add the annotation service. That's it. That's the thing you have to write it. I hope you guys understood things well. I'll see you in my next lecture in 10. Hi, welcome back. Let's continue the video. Now the record is coming to here. The, the record is coming from the front end passing the DTO is passing to the controller passing to the service passing to the service IMPL. Now I'm going to add the record into the database. So here first we have to auto add. So you write auto add. It is passing to is a repo. So you write private employee repo. You create the object employee repo. That's it. Now here you have to write it over here. We have to create the entity class. So entity, we have to write employee. Okay, create the object of this one as a employee equal new employee. We have to add the record via the entity format into the database. Now here we have to get the record. These are all the things are coming via the entity format. So you write it over here. You write it here. This one employee save DTO. Employee save DTO dot, you have to get the values. So get employee name, get employee address, third one employee mobile, employee dot is active state. We have a four rows here: employee name, address, mobile, and active state. That's it. That's the thing you have to get it. After that, we have to write it over here. We have to write it here. This employee repo. Same, we have to pass the employee repo. Repo is the part which will be save the record into the database via the entity format. So it write employee repo dot employee repos. It has a save method. Here you have to pass the entity. So pass the entity, this pass data. Just copy, I have to paste it over here. So this is the repo. There is a save method. So these are the record is coming via the DTR format. Now we have to make it as an entity over here. These are the records you have to pass entity object. You have to pass it here. That's the thing you have to write it. Very simple, right? Your data is coming from the front end via the entity format. After that, when you add the record into the database, so we have to pass into the entity format. So we have all the detailed records we are receiving here. And after that, we have to create the entity object employee. So repo, there is a method which is a predefined method save. So you pass this entity over here. That's it. After that, if the record is inserted successfully, you pass here this employee. Right, employee. That's the thing. Hi, welcome back. In this video, let me test the records. So first we have to run the project. We written all the codes for save the records. We have record all the things, right? So let's run the application. We have to see whether if there is any error or not. So we have to run the application. There is no error. Now let me test that. So open up your Postman. We already show this one. Postman. First you have to declare the port, which port your application is running. So go to the application properties. This is the port where my project is running. 80 API version. So here we have to get them. Employee controller, this one. Copy this, paste it over here, slash. Here we have a method which is a save method. The save method we have to paste it over here. Body. Now you have to write it over here as a JSON format, open bracket and close method. You simply have to test that, go to the DTO. This is saved DTO. This is how the record is coming from via the DTO format. So here. So this same save employee save DTO. You just copy these all things, paste it over here. You simply have to this all the things we get. We have to remove it. We don't need this all the things. We just need this fields only, fields names only. So how to make it as a JSON format? You have to put the double quotation mark inside double quotation mark here. Field names. Here you have to write the data. You have to write it here John, comma, address right here, India, comma, mobile number. So write mobile, comma, active state, you have to write it as true. That's it. Now let's test it. Employee name, address and mobile. These are the data coming from the front end via the DTO format. Here is the DTO formats. It passing the controller passing to the service interface. It is passing to the service IMPL. It is passing to repo at the database via the entity format. Right. That's the thing you have to write it. Now let's test it. Click send button. Now here it's added successfully. Here it's coming. So it's added successfully. Right now here the record is coming here. It is added successfully. Now I am going to add another new record. It's a Peter. I'm going to write it Peter. India, you have to change the phone number. Write it as true. Send it here. It's working. Here the second record is added. Now the record is added successfully. I hope you guys you understood things well. I'll see you in my next lecturing. Thank you. Hi, welcome back. In our last video, we saw how to save the record. In this video, I'm going to teach how to view the records from the database. So go to the employee controller. First, we are starting from the controller. The record is coming via the DTO format. So here, what is the DTO? Employee DTO. This is the format our record is coming from the database via the MTT format. So here I'm not getting post any values. So we are receiving the records. So first we have to add annotation get mapping. So get mapping. So you write the get mapping. You write the path. You write it here. Get all employee. Get all employees. You have to create the method public list. We have to get the list of data. So we have to pass that DTO. Which format? DTO format. Record is coming to the front end via the DTO format. So here. So here we have tried to create the method get all employees. You have to create the method. That's it. That's the thing you have to write. Right now, we have to write this same thing. List employee DTO. List employee DTO. You have to create the object all employees. You have to get all the employee details from the database table. When the request is coming, get all employees. The control will be passing to service. So service, we have right here employee service dot, we have to create the method get all employees. Get all employees. Now here, click on this. If you click, there's a bulb symbol. You have to click on this, create the method in our service class. Click on this. Here this method has been created. Perfect. Now let's go to the employee service IMPL. We have another method also there. The list employee, this method get all employees. So here it asks to implement that. So click on here. There's a bulb symbol. Click on here. Implement that method as well. Get all employees. So click OK. We have implemented successfully. Get all employees. Now we have to get the records from the database when the request is coming. So how to get the records from the database? So we have to write it over here. You have to write list. You have to list of the list. We have to get the records from where? Database. So you write the entity class. You write the entity class, employee. You have to create the object get employees equal. We have to write it over here. Employee repo. You have to write the employee repo. This one. Employee repo dot find all. If you type find all, we have to get all the records from the database. You have to get all the records from the database. We no need to write the query. So here simply the repo, the JPA repository can manage all the SQL queries. Select all from employees. All the query will be managed by JPA repository. I will show you in few minutes. So here all the things are, you can see the console. If you insert the record, you can see the insert, the same thing. The select query also, it will be managed by JPA repository. So simply here, it is take care of it. You can find it, employee repo.find, all the record will be find it and pass into here, pass into this object, get employees. The repo, it can't find directly, it find all the records through the entity format. So entity. So it will be passing to here. After that, when you get the records from the database, we pass into the front end via the DTO format. So we have to write list. Here you have to write list. We have to write student DTO. Sorry, employee DTO. So employee DTO. So employee DTO. DTO. Here write the employee list. Employee DTO list. You write the employee DTO list equal. You have to write new. You have to make it as a array list. You have to make it as an array list. That's it. Now here you write for. We have to write the for loop. Employee entity. Employee entity here. Create a object here. You have to create the object E. Whatever name you can create it here. I just put it as E. You have to write colon this get employees. That get employees. Right? The get employees. Open and close. We get all the records from the employee. We get all the records from the employee tables. Pass into here. It is get one by one to this object. So you have right here. You're setting to the front end as a DTO format. So how to get the record, receive the record from the database table, passing to the front end as a DTO format. So here we write it here. This employee DTO, you have to create the object of employee DTO equal new employee DTO. Now here you have to write this e dot get employee ID. We need all the records, okay? Employee get employee ID, e dot employee name dot employee name. After that, employee name, address, get address, mobile number dot is active. That's it. That's the thing you have to write it. Right. Okay, so we have to get the, this is the find the records. Okay, find the record and pass into this object. You are getting one through the for loop. So here we have set into the DTF format. So all the records we have to, the entity records you have set into the DTF format. You have to pass it to here, employee DTO. After that, what you are going to do is here, we already created the list here, object here, employee list. The employee list I just copied and paste it over here. Dot, there is a method which is add. Here we have to pass into this employee detail. Right? Okay, you have to get the records. You have to set it as a DTO format. So this object, this all the things set in the DTO format. You have to pass into this object. You have to call it here. That's the thing you have to write it here. This one you have to pass into the front end and show the record. That's the thing you have to write. So after that, we have to return the list. Which list? We have written this. That's it. That's the thing you have to write it. Very simple. Very simple. Right? So now what you're going to do is we have to write it over here. Return this all employees. Now let's test through the Postman. So let's run the application again. If you done the changes, you must run it. Then only it will be applied. If you are without run and you have to go to the Postman tested, it won't apply. So you have to run it. There is no error. It's working perfectly well. Now let's test that. So this is the post method. So I'm going to get another plus symbol. You have to get this another one. The same thing. So all things are just same thing. You just copy it, paste over here. So here the method also you have to change it as a get method. This is the port and API version employee. All things are running same. Only this endpoint is different. The endpoint which is a get all employees. So just copy this one here. Other things are same. So you have to pass it here. That's it. Now let's click send this one here. It successfully we have get the records from the database to the front end. Now the flow is work. When the request is coming from the front end, API version employees, get all employees, what happens is it's getting to the coming here, The controller which will be passing the service will be passing to the service interface passing to the IMPL. IMPL, what to do here is it will be get find select all the records from the database, help of the repo employee repo. There is a find method. It will be find the all the records from the database table of employees via the help of the entity here. It will be passing to this object. After that we have to create the another employee list. This one should be the DTF format. It's a DTF format list we have created. The second line. After that, we find all the records from the database. We have to get by one here over here using the for loop. After that, this all the records we have to set into the DTF format. We have to change the DTF format. So you have to write that DTO format. So you have to create the DTO object here, employee DTO. Here, this one E. This entity object E. We have to get all the things. Get employee ID, name, address, mobile, and active status. All the things we have received from the database, and we have to convert as a DTF format. Here, now we have to pass into the front end using the employee detail list we have created over here. There is a method that you have to pass into here. After that, we have to return employee detail list. It will be returned to the front end. That's how the flow works, right? So we have post the record. When you save the record, it will be save the record via the DTO format. When you're receiving the record from the database, that also we have to show into the front end as a DTO format. Okay, this DTO is very must. I hope you guys understood the things well. I'll see you in my next lecture in tech. Hi, welcome back. Let's continue the video. Now the record is coming to here. The record is coming from the front end passing the DTO. DTO is passing to the controller passing to the service passing to the service IMPL. Now I'm going to add the record into the database. So here first we have to auto add. So you write auto add. It is passing to a repo. So you write private employee repo. You have to create the object employee repo. That's it. Now here we have to write it over here. We have to create the entity class. So entity we have to write employee. Okay, create the object of this one as a employee equal new employee. We have to add the record via the entity format into the database. Now here we have to get the record. These are all the things are coming via the entity format. So you write it over here. You write it here. This one employee save DTO. Employee save DTO dot you have to get the values. So get employee name, get employee address, third one employee mobile, employee dot is active state. We have a four rows here: employee name, address, mobile, and active state. That's it. That's the thing you have to get it. After that, we have to write it over here. We have to write it here. this employee repo. The employee repo, same, we have to pass the employee repo. Repo is the part which will be save the record into the database via the entity format. So it write employee repo dot employee repos. It has a save method. It has a save method. Here you have to pass the entity. So pass the entity, this pass data. Just copy, I have to paste it over here. So this is the repo. There is a save method. So these are the record is coming via the DTR format. Now we have to make it as an entity over here. These are the records you have to pass entity object. You have to pass it here. That's the thing you have to write it. Very simple, right? Your data is coming from the front end via the entity format. After that, when you add the record into the database, so we have to pass into the entity format. So entity format. So we have all the detailed records we are receiving here. And after that, we have to create the entity object employee. So repo, there is a method which is a predefined method save. So you pass this entity over here. That's it. After that, if the record is inserted successfully, you pass here this employee. Right, employee. That's the thing. Hi, welcome back. In this video, let me test the records. So first we have to run the project. We written all the codes for save the records. We have record all the things, right? So let's run the application. We have to see whether if there is any error or not. So we have to run the application. There is no error. Now let me test that. So open up your Postman. We already show this one. Postman. First you have to declare the port, which port your application is running. So go to the application properties. This is the port where my project is running. 80808075 API version. So here we have to get them. Employee controller, this one. Copy this, paste it over here, slash. Here we have a method which is a save method. The save method we have to paste it over here. Body. Now we have to write it over here as a JSON format, open bracket and close method. We simply have to test that. Go to the DTO. This is saved DTO. This how the record is coming from via the DTO format. So here. So this same save employee save DTO. You just copy these all things, paste it over here. You simply have to this all the things we get. We have to remove it. We don't need this all the things. We just need this fields only, fields names only. So how to make it as a JSON format? You have to put the double quotation mark. Inside double quotation mark here, field names. Here you have to write the data. You have to write it here, John, comma, address, right here, India, comma, mobile number. So write mobile, comma, active state, you have to write it as true. That's it. Now let's test it. Employee name, address and mobile. These are the data coming from the front end via the DTO format. Here is the DTO formats. It passing the controller passing to the service interface. It is passing to the service IMPL. It is passing to repo at the database via the entity format. Right. That's the thing you have to write it. Now let's test it. Click send button. Now here it's added successfully. Here it's coming. So it's added successfully. Right now here the record is, it is coming here. It is added successfully. Now I am going to add another new record. It's a Peter. I'm going to write it Peter. India, we have to change the phone number. Like it is true. And it here, it's working. Here the second record is added. Now the record is added successfully. I hope you guys you understood things well. I'll see you in my next lecturing. Thank you. Hi, welcome back. In our last video, we saw how to save the record. In this video, I'm going to teach how to view the records from the database. So go to the employee controller. First, we are starting from the controller. The record is coming via the DTO format. So here, what is the DTO? Employee DTO. This is the format our record is coming from the database via the MTT format. So here I'm not getting post any values. So we are receiving the records. So first we have to add annotation get mapping. So get mapping. So you write the get mapping. You write the path. You write it here. Get all employee. Get all employees. You have to create the method public list. We have to get the list of data. So we have to pass that DTO. Which format? DTO format. Record is coming to the front end via the DTO format. So here we have tried to create the method get all employees. We have to create the method. That's it. That's the thing you have to write. Right now we have to write this same thing, list employee DTO, list employee DTO. You have to create the object all employees. You have to get all the employee details from the database table. When the request is coming, get all employees, the control will be passing to service. So service, we have right here employee service dot, we have to create the method get all employees. Get all employees. Now here, click on this. If you click, there's a bulb symbol. You have to click on this. Create the method in our service class. Click on this. Here this method has been created. Perfect. Now let's go to the employee service IMPL. We have another method also there. The list employee, this method get all employees. So here it asks to implement that. So click on here. There's a bulb symbol. Click on here. Implement that method as well. Get all employees. So click OK. We have implemented successfully. Get all employees. Now we have to get the records from the database when the request is coming. So how to get the records from the database? So we have to write it over here. So write list. We have to list of the list. We have to get the records from where? Database. So you write the entity class. You write the entity class employee. You have to create the object get employees equal. We have to write it over here. Employee repo. We have to write the employee repo. This one. Employee repo dot find all. If you type find all, we have to get all the records from the database. You have to get all the records from the database. We no need to write the query. So here simply the repo, the JPA repository can manage all the SQL queries. Select all from employees. All the query will be managed by JPA repository. I, I will show you in few minutes. So here all the things are, you can see the console. If you insert the record, you can see the insert. The same thing, the select query also, it will be managed by JPA repository. So simple here, it is take care of it. You can find it, employee repo.find, all the record will be find it and passing to here, passing to this object, get employees. The repo, it can't find directly, it find all the records through the entity format. So entity. So it will be passing to here. After that, when you get the records from the database, we passing to the front end via the DTO format. So we have write list. Here you have write list. We have write student DTO. Sorry, employee DTO. Say employee DTO. So employee DTO. DTO. Here write the employee list. Employee DTO list. You write the employee DTO list equal. You write new. You have to make it as a array list. You have to make it as an array list. That's it. Now here you write for, we have to write the for loop. Employee entity, employee entity here, create a object here. You have to create the object E. Whatever name you can create it here. I just put it as E. You have to write colon this get employees. Get employees. Right? The get employees. Open and close. We get all the records from the employee. We get all the records from the employee tables. Pass into here. It is get one by one to this object. So you have write here. You have write you're setting to the front end as a DTO format. So how to get the record, receive the record from the database table, passing to the front end as a DTO format. So here we write it here. This employee DTO, you have to create the object of employee DTO equal new employee DTO. Now here you have to write this E dot get employee ID. We need all the records, okay? Employee get employee ID, E dot employee name dot employee name. After that, employee name, address, get address, mobile number dot is active. That's it. That's the thing you have to write it. Right. Okay, so we have to get the, this is the find the records. Okay, find the record and pass into this object. You are getting one through the for loop. So here we have set into the DTF format. So all the records we have to, the entity records you have set into the DTF format. You have to pass it to here, employee DTO. After that, what you are going to do is here, we already created the list here, object here, employee list. The employee list I just copied and paste it over here. Dot, there is a method which is add. Here we have to pass into this one, employee detail. Right? Okay, you have to get the records. You have to set it as a DTO format. So this object, this all the things set in the DTO format. You have to pass into this object. You have to call it here. That's the thing you have to write it here. This one you have to pass into the front end and show the record. That's the thing you have to write. So after that we have to return You have written the list. Which list? You have written this. That's it. That's the thing you have created. Very simple. Very simple. Right? So now what you're going to do is we have to write it over here. Return this all employees. Now let's test to the postman. So let's run the application again. If you done the changes, you must run it. Then only it will be applied. If you are without run and you have to go to the postman tested, it won't apply. So run it. There is no error. It's working perfectly well. Now let's test that. So this is the post method. So I'm going to get another plus symbol. You have to get this another one. The same thing. So all things are just same thing. You just copy it, paste over here. So here the method also you have to change it as a get method. This is the port and API version employee. All the things are running same. Only this endpoint is different. The endpoint which is a get all employees. So just copy this one here. Other things are same. So you have to pass it here. That's it. Now let's click send this one here. It successfully we have get the records from the database to the front end. Now the flow is work. When the request is coming from the front end, API version employees get all employees. What happens is it's getting to the coming here. The controller which will be passing the service will be passing to the service interface passing to the IMPL. IMPL what to do here is it will be get find select all the records from the database, help of the repo employee repo. There is a find method. It will be find all the records from the database table of employees via the help of the entity here. It will be passing to this object. After that we have to create the another employee list. This one should be the DTF format. It's a DTF format list we have created. The second line. After that we find all the records from the database. We have to get by one here over here using the for loop. After that, this all the records we have to set into the DTO format. We have to change the DTO format. So you have to write that DTO format. So you have to create the DTO object here, employee DTO. Here, this one E. This entity object E. You have to get all the things. Get employee ID, name, address, mobile, and active status. All the things we have received from the database, and we have to convert as a DTO format. Here, now we have to pass into the front end using the employee detail list we have created over here. There's a method that you have to pass into here. After that, we have to return employee detail list. It will be returned to the front end. That's how the flow works, right? So we have post the record. When you save the record, it will be save the record via the DTO format. When you're receiving the record from the database, that also we have to show into the front end as a DTO format. Okay, this DTO is very must. I hope you guys understood the things well. I'll see you in my next lecture in tech. Hi, welcome back. In our last video, we saw how to view the records. In this video, I'm going to teach how to update the records. So let's go to the tutorial. So go to the employee controller. Here, I'm going to create the method of update employees. So first I'm going to add the annotation. If you want to edit the record, we have to start with the put mapping. So put mapping, so write the put mapping. Here we have a path, so write update, so write update slash update. If the endpoint is coming slash update, it goes to this method. You write it public, you write here as a employee, you write this employee, this one entity. You have to get the output as a entity form. So write public employee. You have to create the method which is a update employee. You have to create the method as update employee. Here you have to write the request body. This one as we have created the DTO employee update DTO. Employee update DTO. Create the object of your create here employee update. Open and close bracket. That's it. So when you update the records, with the URL you are typing over here, the data is coming to here via the DTO format. It's a DTO format. The record is coming this format, passing to this object. After that, we have to write return. We simply have to return employee service dot. We have to create the update method in our service. So update, we have to create update employees. So these are the records are coming from the front end. You just copy this, paste it over here. That's it. Now here, what's the records coming from the front end? It coming via the DTO format. It passing to the controller here. Now the controller will be passing to service. So service, we have write it here, the method which is update employee. Now we have to create it. So you click on this, click on that bulb symbol, create method. Here it's creating the employee service. It create on the interface. Now here, this is the implementation only. So you have to go to the employee service IMPL. Now you have to implement this one, implement the method. You have to implement it. Right. Now record is coming over here. Now we have to write the logic how to update the record over here in this method. So very simple. First you have to check whether the student record is exist or not in the database table. Check via the ID. So how to check it? So if you write if, you have type the if condition. You have type if condition, you write employee repo. So employee repo here. So employee repo. So why we have to implement the employee repo? The employee repo is a part where it's a SQL query. We already discussed about the employee. This is a JPA. The completely SQL query. Select all from employee table where the ID. There's all the queries. It will be default. It will be take care of it. So you have tried it here. Employee repo dot. There's a predefined method which is a exist by ID. Which is a exist by ID. This method which is a exist by ID. Now here, this is a detail. Record is coming here. You just paste it over here. Dot get employee ID. So the employee update DTO, here you can see here employee update DTO, it is coming the ID as well. Now we have to get that particular ID. We have to test it through the repo. If the IDs exist in the database now. If the IDs exist, we have to update the record. So you have to go here First, you have to write it here. Where out update, so where are the entity? The repo, it can't communicate with the database and update the record. There is another layer called entity. So you have to write this called entity. You have to enter the object of entity, which is entity, employee entity. You have to create employee object over here equal repo. So here it's a repo, employee repo dot get by ID. Here's a get by ID. Here you have to write this get by ID, the same thing. What are the things? What's the ID you are getting over here? Right, your record is coming via the entity format here. What's the ID is coming here? You have to get that particular ID. So you have to write the employee update DTO dot get employee ID. The ID matching record will be we are going to update. What's the ID is coming here? The ID matching value which will be exist in the database. The IDs exist. The ID matching value will be we have updated. So that's the thing you have to write here. Right now we have to write it here. This employee object dot here when you update the record we have to call here set employee name. We have to write this employee update DTO dot get employee name. Right. So what I did here is we are receiving the value through the DTO format. We have to get the values one by one. We have update values. We have set into the relevant fields. Here employee, set employee name. Right. If the IDs exist, after that we have to edit the records. So we edit the records through the help of entity. So entity object. Here we have to write it set employee name. Here what the record you are edited, it is getting and set into the database column. Right. So here second one is a employee dot set address. You have to write this employee update DTO dot get address. Third one, employee dot set mobile. You write employee update DTO dot get mobile. However, the employee dot set active state, the employee update DTO dot is active state. That's it. That's the thing you have to write it. Okay. Right. What's the record you are coming from the front end? The IDs exist. The matching ID matching record we have. I'm going to update it. So you have to set it the fields over here. After that, we have to call the method here employee repo dot save this entity. You have to call it over here. That's it. Right, you have to call this entity. Right, after made the changes, after that we have to call the save method in the repo. It will be updating. Right, after updating, you have to return the same code. That's it. Else, you write else. You write the start. You write the so ut. Press the tab key on your keyboard. System.out.println is stated. Here, the ID is not found. We have to get the error. Employee ID not found. That's it. That's the thing. If the IDs exist, this particular block of the code work. If the ID does not exist, the else part will be. Now let's test that. So here this employee controller, right? So back to my postman. I'm going to open up the new window. The same save request, the same. This is the post request. The post request same API. This is all the data we have just copied. Here you have to go to the head body. Here select the body row. You have to paste them. Here you have to select the test. You have to select as JSON format. Now here we need another one thing, ID. So ID what you have written here, the same format. Update employee ID. This one I just copied, paste it over here. You no need to write again. So what are they? What is the data you are going to edit? So we have a two data. I'm going to edit this one, John. So I'm going to edit the John. So this it should be one, right? So you come right. So John, you write a John. So you have to write this one as a John Peter. You have to address. You have to make it as USA. Phone number. I just go put something like that, right? Here this one should be the post map put mapping. I'm going to edit the record. Here you can see put mapping. Here what is the URL? All the things are same, only the endpoint is different. Here this all the things are same. The save record, get records, the endpoint is different. This is the update. So what you're going to do is here I'm going to the postman copy this, copy, paste it over here. We have to, this one should be the update, right? Update. Now we have to run the application. We haven't run the application yet. After done the update part, you have to run the application. Then only the changes will be updated. These changes. Okay, we have post method. We have to run it application. Now let's check whether is there any error or not. There is no error. Now let's back it here. Now I'm going to click send. Here I have get error. So what's the error? No CD is found for class, right? This error we simply have to install it. Okay, so I have to if there is any error coming, you have to how to try to solve the error. Okay, so here they are telling the serialized problem. Here hibernate lazy initializer is problem. Here this one we have to, there is a JSON problem. So you have to go to our entity. Here this is the entity. Here you have to go to your type this annotation JSON ignore property. You have to ignore it. Ignore properties. So write that line, this one is initializer. Okay, so you have to write open and close bracket here. I just here to copy this and here to paste it over here. Right, so here comma handler. Right, handler. Right, that's it. That's the thing you have to write it. Now let's stop and run the project again. There is no error. Now let's again go and click send button. Here now it will be updated successfully. Now let's go back to my project here. Get here. You have to click send. Here John has been updated successfully. Here John Peter USA. Now I'm going to edit this record to select as 2. So Peter, I'm going to change it Peter James. This one address UK. Phone number I'm going to change something like that. Click send. Record is updated. Now let's back here. Click send button. Here it's updated successfully. Perfect. Now the updation working successfully. Now the flow works. Here you can see, go here. You can see here the select query, here this update query is working. Here, this is how the update query is working. This query is generated where you can see the repository. This is the part it will be generate the queries. Okay, if you generate the queries, this is the part. Okay, so here if you are calling the save method, it will be generated this as update here. Okay, right? So you can see all the codes here. Select query, update query, right? All things you will be able to see. Right, perfect. So how the flow works, you will be able to, if the record is coming from the front end, here, front end, so it's coming to this, all the records should be coming to here. This is passing to service passing service IMPL, the IDs, but the ID is coming here, this ID, the IDs exist in the database, it will be doing the following steps. It will be update the records. The ID is not found, it display employee ID not found. That's it. That's simple stuff we have done. I hope you guys you understood the things well. I'll see you in my next lecturing. Thank you. Hi, welcome back. In our last video, we saw the update part. In this video, I'm going to teach the delete part. So go to the employee controller. So here, I'm going to delete the record. We have to add the annotation as a delete mapping. Path equal delete employee. Here the ID. The ID. So here, I'll write it here. Right. Now after that, what you're going to do is here, when the request is coming, delete employees, what is the ID you are typing over here. So now we have to create the method public string. So write it here. It's a delete employee. Delete employee. So you have to get the path variable. Path variable value ID. The long, to write it as here ID. Write like this. Okay, open and close bracket. What's the ID here? What's the ID you are typing here? This ID you are passing to here. This is passing to here. This is the path variable. Okay. So what's the ID you are typing? This is the URL. Okay, this is endpoint employee, delete employee. What's the ID you are typing here? It's passing to here. It is passing to here. Now we have created the data type boolean delete. So create the variable delete employee equal. We have to pass into the service. Which service? Employee service. So I just copy it, paste it over here. Inside the employee service, I'm going to create the method which is a delete employee. Simply create the delete employee. Plus the ID you are coming here, you are passing to here. Right here, passing to here. Plus the ID coming here, passing to here. Go to the service. This method. This method we haven't created yet. So here, select here. There's a bulb symbol. Create this method on your service employee interface. Let's go to the employee IMPL. You have to implement it here. Click on here. You have to implement method. Click OK. Right. Now here you are implemented. Now here what you are going to do is we implement that. Now here I'm going to write it over here. If You have to check with the employee repo if the IDs exist or not. Employee repo dot exist by ID. This side, but the ID is coming here. But the ID is coming here. Get the ID. The IDs exist. You have to write employee repo dot. There will be the predefined method. It's a delete by ID. It's a delete by ID. It's a delete by ID. You are passing this ID. That's it. If the ID is not exist in the database table, you have to pass in the message. So you have to write this out here. You write here employee ID not found. That's it. Right. So over here, what's the ID you are typing over here? What's the ID you are typing? The URL here. It passing to here. This one should be passing to here. It goes to the employee service delete employee method. So go to the IMPL, get the ID. It is checking employee repo dot exist by ID. It is checking the database table. This code is checking. Select all from the employee table where the ID. The IDs exist, it will be delete the row, entire row. The ID is not found, it display employee ID not found. That's the thing it will display. Right. After that, we have to get a message. We have to write here return delete deleted. That's it. Now let's check it whether it's working fine or not. We have to run the project again. Okay, you have to run the project. Okay, after done the stuff, you have to run the project. I forgot to run the project sometimes. Right, so now it's running perfect. Now let's go to the Postman. Here, this one should be the delete mapping. So we have to select the delete. The same request you have to the employee. This all the things I just copied, paste it over here. Employee. Here, go back to my project. Here, this is the URL. So you just copy it, paste it over here. So you have to be no need this, right? So here the ID. So you have to go to the get out. So we have a 2 records. So I want to delete this 2. So Peter James. So what's the ID? Number 2. So you have to put as a 2 over here. Now let's click send button. Here deleted. Now it's deleted successfully. Now let's back to my project. Here get our student. So let's refresh it. Here so one ID should be left. Right. I hope you guys I already explained how the flow works in my basic CRUD application, Spring Boot application part. So I no need to explain again by again. So here, when you type the ID over here, it's coming to here. This ID, the ID should be setting to the path variable here. It will be assigned here. So it goes to the employee service delete method. So receive the ID. If the ID exists in the database, it is deleted. If the ID is not exist, display the message as employee ID not found. That's it. I hope you guys understood the employee, all the employee CRUD operation we are completed. In my next video, I'm going to start the task. Thank you for watching. Hi, welcome back. In our last video, we complete the employee part. In this video, I'm going to start the task. So, first I'm going to implement the entity class of the task. So, first select the package entity, right click, have to new class, you have to name it as, this class you have to name it as task. task. We have named it as task. Right. The task, so again the same, we have a entities. We have the annotation, you have the entity, you have just copied and paste it over here. Entity. After that, what you're going to do is here, I'm going to create the variables. So you have to write the private, first one is ID. So I write long, data type long, task ID. The second one, private, you have to create the access specifier private. Second one is a string data type task name. Task name. Third one, description. So write string description. Right. So we have a description. After that, we have another thing is complete task, whether it's complete or not. We have to check it. So we have to write the same thing private, which is a boolean type. So boolean complete. Right. Okay. Now we have done the all the things. Right. Now what you are going to do is we have to add the columns. So you have to create over here which is a ID, which is a primary key. So you have to set the primary key, it's ID. We have to select the primary key over here. Select the primary key. After that, second one I'm going to add over here. Here is the column name. So column name, you have to write it as a name. You have to write it as task ID. Length 50. Generate value. Generation identity, type identity. How does the column name? This one, copy and paste it over here. Task name. You have to give the, here you will be able to see the length. I'm going to task, I'm going to 7 to the 100 length, the 100 length. Right. Column length, I'm going to use I want to create the like this. So same thing, the column, I just copy and paste it over here. This one should be the task description. So the description, that's this description. Right. After that, we have set the another one is a column. You just copy this, paste over here. This one should be the complete. This is copy and paste over complete. That's it. That's the thing you have to write it. Right. So that's the thing we have to write it over here. Right. The which is you have the same thing you have to put it there. The employee also you have to get it this thing. True or false. The same thing I just copied. Right. You have to make it as it is. Okay, it's no problem. Right. Okay, so there we have created the columns, task ID, task name, description, and complete. Right. Now what you're going to do is I want to make the relationship. So in our next video tutorial, I'll be teach how to make the relationship. Thank you for watching. Hi, welcome back. In this video, I'm going to teach to make the relationship. So we discussed in the documentation, one employee has many tasks. So one to many relationship. One to many relationship. In this project, we have to make the one to many relationship. One employee has many tasks. So one to many relationship. So how to implement the one to many relationship in Spring Boot? So how to implement the one to many relationship is, first go to the employee class first. So employee class, employee entity class here. Go here, below the activity here, you have to create the private set, you have to set, you have to write collection of tasks. Set task, you have to write tasks. Task. What is the meaning by this? You have to select this one. It is reside on the Java util set. So Alt plus enter key on your keyboard. It asks the class. You have to import it here. It's util. Right. This class will be getting here. Right. Okay. Now here one employee as set of tasks. So that I have implemented here set task. One employee consists of many tasks. A one-to-many relationship. So how to implement the one-to-many relationship in Spring Boot? You have to write the annotation and you have type capital O. You can see here. That's a one-to-one. Here one-to-many, one-to-one. You have to take it one-to-many. You implement one-to-many. Inside the bracket, you have type mapped by which table. We have to map which table you are going to map. What's the table? This entity. This is a employee table. Which is a employee. You can see here. Here on your right side here. What's the table? Employee table. So write it over here. Employee. You have to map by one-to-many relations. Which table? Employee table. Right. So one employee consists of number of tasks, many tasks, one-to-many relationship. Right. So first in Spring Boot, this is the employee. You have to implement a one-to-many map by employee. The table name, which is an employee. After that, you have to hear this one, set of tasks. Right? This is how we have implement the relationship in employee class. Right? After that, you have to go to task. You have to open the task. Here, we have to create the private. You have to this employee. You have to create the object here, employee. Right. You have to create the object of employee right here. Right. Now here we have to make the relationship. So here one-to-many. We have to set into our employee class. Task, we have to implement the annotation many-to-one. You have to implement the many-to-one. After that, we have to add another annotation, join column. Over here, we have to, what's the join column over here? So here, employee table, this is the primary key. The same primary key which will be available in the task table, which called as foreign key. So you have to, how to implement the foreign key? You have to type inside the within the double quotation mark, you have to type employee ID. Right? Employee ID here, right? The attributes, we haven't tried the attributes. That's why show there are employee. Right. Okay. So the task table, this is the foreign key, which is the employee ID. We have to make the relationship. Right. This is the employee table, which is a primary key, the same primary key available in the another table, which is a task called as foreign key. Right. This is how we have to make the relationship one-to-many. Right. First, you have to understand how to make the one-to-many relationship. Very simple. First the which one? Employee table. You have to make the annotation one-to-many. You have to map the table name employee. After that, one employee consists of many tasks. You have to set of tasks. You have to write like this. Other hand, task, you have to create the employee object over here. You have this same name you have typed here, employee. If there are any other names here, there are staff, customers, you have typed customers, the object you have to create it. After that, you have to type many-to-one. Here you have typed many-to-one. Join column. You have to specify the join column. Which column we have a join column. So here employee ID. Right. That's the thing we have to write. I hope you guys you understood things well. Here I'll see in my next section. Hi, welcome back. In our last video, we saw the task part. In this video, I'm going to create the controller classes and interfaces, controller and service and repo. All the things will be created. So select the controller package. I'm going to create the right click new Java class. This one task controller. Right. Task controller has been created successfully. Now I'm going to create the service. For the service, I'm going to create the two different services you have to create here. First one is a interface, which is a task service. Second one is a task service IMPL. Right. Now here is IMPL. We have to add the annotation service. Right, we have to add it here. Right. After that, we have to go to the repo. Here also, right click, new Java class. Here you have to select as interface. This one also task repo. That's it. That's the thing you have to create. But first you have to understand the scenario how the Spring Boot application works. When the request is coming from the front end, passing as a DTO to controller passing to the service passing the report to communicate it to database. Right? So we have to understand the flow. I hope you guys you understood the things well. I'll see you in my next video. Hi, welcome back. In this video, I'm going to teach the task controller. We have to open up the task controller. We already created in our last video. Now, here first we have to add the required annotations. So back to my employee controller. These are the annotations. I just copy it and paste it over here. Right? I have written this all. We don't need to return one by again. Okay, you just copy and paste it, so you don't write again, right? So the same thing here. We have to change the URL as here. This is the API version task. That's the thing you have to write. That's the thing you have to write. After that, what you're going to do is we have to do another thing is we have to create the function. First, we have to create the function. So function I'm going to create as public, you have to write string, you have to create a string, save task, you have to write save task, you have to write task. After that, we have to write over here, request body, task, save DTO, task save DTO, open and close bracket. Right. Now here, when the request is coming from the DTO front end, it passes it to the DTO, save DTO. It is coming to the our controller over here. Right? Controller will be passing to the service. We already learned the Spring Boot layer architecture. So here we have to passing to the service. The data we are passing to the controller to service. So we have to auto where here you have to write it over here. You have to auto where you have the things service task. Here this thing task service task service. The task service object. You have to create task service object over here. Right. That's the thing you have to write. Okay, that's the thing we have to write it. Okay, the same thing you have to write it over here as well. So you have to write here source of private. That's it. Now what you're going to do is here I'm going to type string when the task get added. I want to retrieve the particular task ID. So we are right here. I'm going to receive the task ID. What's a task ID? We are retrieving that particular task. So you try the task. You have to pass into the task. This task service dot. You have to create the method in the task service task at task. Right. Now here we have to copy this. You have to paste it over here. That's the thing here, right? Okay, when the request is coming from the front end, passing to the DTO passing to the controller passing to the service which has a method at task. So select over here, create the method at task. Click on this. You have to create the method at task. So here, interface the task method has been created successfully. Now we have go to task implementations over here. Here what you're going to do is, here we go to the employee IMP, the same thing. Implements employee service. Now here, what are the things you have to implement it? Implements task service. So implement that, it passing to the error. You click on this bulb symbol, it asks to implement the method which is add task. This method is inside here. So you have created the method. This method we have to implement it over here. That's it. Very simple. When the request is coming from the front end, it passes into the controller passing to the service. The service interface pass to the service IMPL. This is how the flow works, right? Now the IMPL pass add the data into the database via to the repo. So we have to tell to the repo. So over here also we have to, what you're going to do is we have to what you're going to do is you're passing to the repo. So what you're going to do is here the same thing. What I did here, the employee service IMPL, the same thing. We have to also write it. So private task repo task. That's it. That's the thing. We have to write it. Perfect. Very simple. I hope you guys you understood the things well. I'll see in my next video tutorial. Thank you. Hi, welcome back. In our last video, we have stopped from here. Let's continue the video. Now here we have to do another small things. We have to forget it. So go to the before at the task. This is must. Go to the task save DTO. Here, this is save DTO. This how the record is coming from the front end. This data is coming from the front end and this format. This one passing to our controller passing to the service to service IMP. That's how the data will be coming. So here we made a small mistake over here. This one we have to make it as, we have to create as not an object we have to create as this one as a long, you have to create as a this one as a employee ID. You have to create employee ID. This is a foreign key, right? Okay, so employee table there is ID, the task table there is employee ID. So the same thing, we just copy this. The update task update also we have to make it here, right? So when you save the data and update data, we have to make the ID over here. When you get all the data, so we have a collection of employee, we have to get it over here. It says task DTO, we have to get it as a collection of employees. So that we have to pass the employee object over here. We have collection of employee we are getting. Here only we need a ID only. When you save the data, only need a employee particular ID. When the employee at the task, so what is it? You have to select the particular employee ID. the one employee as many tasks. So that particular employee ID only we will be able to enter over here, right? So we have to go to the application properties. So you have to create the table again. You have to create, so again you have to run it and check whether is there any errors. If you make any changes, you run it back, right? So sorry, so you make some error here because here we haven't written. In the last video, when you save the task, so we have to here we are passing to the service, so we have to return the task ID. That's it. So this how we have. That's why when you run the project, it will be telling the error. So that things, and we have to go to the task impl here also. This one I comment it, right? So let's run it. Right now you can see here. Right now here the project is running successfully. It's no problem. Now you go to here, you can refresh it. You have a here, you can refresh it. You can see the student table and task table has been created. You can see the columns, right? Here this employee ID, here this employee ID, it's selected here. Task ID, description, task name, employee ID is complete. So that all the columns are created successfully. Perfect. Right. Now what you're going to do is, now let's go to our employee service. We have to add another method over here, right? What is the task you are adding? We have to find the employee ID. We have to find the particular employee ID. So what you're going to do is, here we have to type it here, employee. You have to create the method get employee long this side, which ID? This side, employee ID. Copy it, paste it over here. When you register the task, we need an employee ID. So we have to implement this function get employee. Right. So here this we have to implement that into this method into our employee service IAM. We have to go to the employee service IAM here. Click on here. There's a bulb symbol. You click on the implement the method. We have created the new method which is a get employee. Right. We have implemented successfully. Now what you're going to do here, I have to find it. So we have to write return. We have to find through employee repo dot, there is a find by ID. Here student, here we have to write a employee ID, this employee ID. So employee ID dot get. We are using the get. You have to this one we don't need, right? What I did here is, what is the employee ID? When you add the task, we need an employee ID. So the one employee has many tasks. So that we have to create this function, right? So the here you can go to the save detail. You can see here task name, description, and complete. Here there are many employees IDs are there. What's the employee ID you are selected? Here what you are, it is the service. The employee ID is coming here, and here get the employee ID. It is find it from the database table. The help of repo. Repo, it consists of the predefined method find by ID. That method easily find the employee ID. If the employee IDs exist or not. If the employee IDs exist, it will be find the particular employee data. If you are dot get mean, it will be get the data. So that's how we have write it over here. Right? Okay. I hope you understand that. That's why I have created this method. So we have to add the data. Right. So here you can see here now. You can go here. Now I have to whatever this one I have to remove the command, right? So here task repo, right? This is the this how we are communicate with the database. Task service will be communicate with the database through the task repo, right? Now here, what you're going to do is you simply we have to write it over here. Employee, this is the entity, say employee entity, right? So the repo, it will be communicate with the database through the entity format. So employee, create the object employee equal, so the employee equal, now here the first ID, you have to find the ID, so here you have to write it here, you have to auto add private employee service, you have to create the object employee service, right? This employee service, you have to write it over here, dot employee service, there is a method get employee, this method, which method, this get employee, right? What's the ID is coming here, you're typing here, you have to get it. After that you write task save DTO dot get employee ID, you have to get the get employee ID, right? It's a get employee, here you can see the get employee ID, that this get employee ID means this one, that this get employee ID, right? Okay, so what is the ID you are typing on the front end? When you save the data, here all the things are filled. What's the employee ID you are typing here? It is getting here. That's why you have to implement the, because this is the employee and task. So we have to merge the table to find the data. So we have to write here employee service get task save DTO. You have to get dot. We have to here there is a method which is a get employee ID, right? After that, what you're going to do is here, now you have to write the task, this entity, task, you have to create the object equal new task. You have to create the object task, this you have to create the object task. Now we have to add the data to the database table via the entity. So here we have to call this entity, we have to create the object, entity format object. Now the data is, we are passing through the DTO format. So here this is the DTO format, right? So DTO format, save DTO dot, first one is a task name, comma, second one is a get task description. After that, task save DTO dot get task get complete. After that, we have to pass this employee. Here this employee means here this one. What's the employee ID you are typing on here? Here what's the employee ID you are typing here? Right? Here what's the employee ID you are typing here? You are getting it over here. Right? We can't get it directly. Here we have to create the method on the employee service, which is a get employee method. That method will be finding the particular ID, which ID is coming here, it will be passing this object, you have to pass it over here. That's how we are finding the ID, right? That's it. After that, what you're going to do is, now we have to save the data into the database. So how to save? We have set to all the data as a DTO format. We have to create the object of entity over here. Now there is things which is a repo. So the employee repo you have created over here. The task repo. So task repo. You type task repo. There's a predefined method save. This method is not pop up. There should be the issues. Go to the task repo. The problem is here. I haven't created anything else here. I just have created the interface only. So here, very simple. The simple stuff. This all things is just copy the employee repo. employee repo extend JPA repository. The same thing here right here. Extends JPA repository. Here right. What the things here right? Oh here. That's the entity and the data type. The entity which entity? Task and this is a long. So you have to write the long. If it is end, you have to put here as a int. So you have to comma long. This is the this is the query part. If you write this JPA repository, you will be able to write the queries. So here I already show. You press Alt and Control key and click on this here. All the methods should be there. All the CRUD operation methods should be there. Right. So back to here. You have right here. Tasks report or save. Now here it is coming. This pop-up. Select this one. This method, the task, this task entity object, you have to paste it over here. That's the thing you have to write. After that, after you have created the task, I have to return. Let me return the task name instead of the task ID. So you have to write task get task name. You have to task get task name. Right? So you have to return here. Here also you have to go to our task controller. Here also task name. You have to throw here star, not task ID, right? Task name. Right, that's it. That's the thing you have to write. I hope you guys you understood the things well. Right? So I hope you understood things well. I'll see you in my next video lecturing. Thank you. Hi, welcome back. In our last video, we complete the view records. In this video, I'm going to teach the update records. So first go to the task controller. Here I'm going to create the update function. So first you have to implement the annotation put. We have to implement the annotation which is a put mapping. So like put mapping, you have to implement the URL path equal /update. It's coming to update. You have to write it over here. You have to create the function string update employee. You have to write request body. Here you have to write task. This one you have to write here task update DTO. Task update DTO. Task update this one. Open, close it. Now when the record is coming this format, right? This format is the from the front end. Passing the DTO over here when the request is coming /update. After that, if you have to write it over here, you have to write string ID. You have to write the ID, right? Task ID, you have to write task ID. Task ID. If you want, you can give it a task name, anything else. I give as task ID equal. You have to pass into the task service. Okay, you have to retrieve as ID. Okay, so when the task is updated, retrieve as ID. So here, when the request is coming from the front end, it will be passing to the service. So service task service, you have to create the method which is a update task. Update tasks. Right. So okay, this one we have to pass it over here. Here also return. You write this ID, task ID. Right. So now here the request is coming. Its data is coming. Which format? This format. Getting here, it passing to the task service. You have to create the method update task. Click on this, create method over here. Right. So what you're going to do is you have to go to the service IMPL. You have to implement it here. Click on here, implement methods. You have to implement update task method. Click OK. Right, you have to implement that. Now the first thing, once the task ID is coming, we have to get the employee details of the task. So the same thing what I did here is the employee here. This one. The employee is available. That the particular employee ID is getting the particular list here. This all things we have did it in our when we discuss about the task. We discuss about this thing. The same code. Just copy it and paste it over here, right? So nothing to do anything. So this one should be there, not task save video, just task update video. So the ID is must. So here you can see here this ID, employee ID, right? So this this task belongs to which employee ID. So we have to when you update the record and which employee update record you are going to update. So here. That's our first step. You have to find the particular employee ID. So first ID is you get the ID. So here task update DTO, you get the particular employee ID over here. That's it. That's the thing you have to write here. Now here I'm going to test it whether the task IDs exist or not in the database. Also we have to check it if task repo. Here task repo. It will be this is the one we have to write the code. Okay. Dot there is a predefined method called exist by ID, right? Task DTO dot get task ID. This ID. What's the task ID is coming from the front end? It will be checked whether this task IDs exist in the database or not. It will be checking over here. If it is exist, it will be update the record. So we have write task via updated entity. So the task, the entity is the part where communicate with the database. Right? Where the service passing to the repo will be this is a task repo will be passing to the database through the entity format. So entity task to create the object task object, right? The entity class create the object task repo get by ID. So get by ID this ID get by ID dot write task update DTO dot get task ID, right? Get the ID. We have to get the ID first. This format: task ID, task name, description, complete, this employee ID. This how we have write it over here. Right. Second one, we have write this task object we have created. Task object here. Task dot. You have to set it. What's the ID is coming here? What the task ID is coming here? The based on the according to the ID, we have to what the changes you have made. The existing record will be updated. Right? The existing record will be updated. So the existing record when you update that, we will get the particular ID of the task. Right? We are not adding the new record. We are updating the record. So that we have to check whether the IDs exist or not. If it exists, here you have to find the ID. Repo get by ID. You get the particular ID of the task. It will be assigned to here. Task dot what's what is the record? What's the ID is coming here? The according to the record will be loaded and passed into this task object. Now we have to set task name. Get right task update DTO dot get task name. What is the updated value you are coming here? It will be setting here. Task dot set description task update dot get description. After that task dot set complete task update DTO dot get complete. After that, what you're going to do is you have to task dot set employee. We have to this employee, you have to pass to this, we have to pass in the this employee, right? What is the employee ID? You have to pass it over here. After that, we have to write, so all the things we have to save, right? This task, all the things are, you have set this object, this all the your editable value, all the values are setting to this object dot the existing record. You make the changes, you have to task, there is a sorry task repo, task repo this is a task repo dot save. Here you have to pass this object over here. That's it. Very simple, right? What's the ID is coming, the based on the ID the existing record will be updated, so that you have to set, you have to use the set method, right? Existing method we have to update, save task. That's it. If the record is not, the ID is not exist, you have to go to else, you have to write the stout, you have to write employee ID not found, right? To return. That's it. That's the thing you have to write. Now let's run the project and check it. Like it's running successfully. Now let's check it. Go here. I'm going to get another. You have to get another one. So we have to do the same thing. Copy it. The same URL. You have to copy and paste it over. Here we have a put mapping. It's a put mapping. So here. Now you have a experience. So here. So put mapping. What's annotated? What is the endpoint? Update. So this one should be update. So back to my, this is the add record. So all the things we know, we have to copy this, all things copied. So body, row, this we have to make it as a JSON format, paste it over here. Now here what I'm going to do is here we have to, another one is a update, we have task ID only, we have to do it here. The same add coding, only the changes as here. We have an ID only. We have an ID, task ID. Right? Task ID. What are the task ID we have to update it? I'm going to task, which task is one, task 2 task. I'm going to update the task 2. So task 2, you have to write a task 2 ID here. Right? Task 2. So right. What are things I'm going to update here? Task new 1. Task name. Here this one should be new changes. I'm going to change some text, right? Okay, this is employee ID 3. Perfect. So if you want to make it as employee, if you want to give the employee ID different one, you will be able to give here. I keep as it is. Now click send button. Okay, display one. So now let's check it whether it's working fine or not. So here it returned the update query as well. Here the console, you can see this is handled by this repo. This repo is handling, right? So let's check on the database table. So task here, it is happening here, new changes, task new one, right? The task one. Okay, the changes will be done successfully. Now you will be able to see here, this is the update part. The update code is working. This all the things are maintained by this repo. Here this repo, right? So the selection query, the select query, the particular ID matching value, this is select query, right? So you have to go by here. So all the things are do by the this Hibernate part. I hope you guys understood things well. I'll see you in my next lecturing. Thank you. Hi, welcome back. In our last video, we completed the update task. In this video, I am going to start the delete task. So first go to the controller, task controller. Here we have to implement the delete mapping path equal delete. Now I'm going to create the function. So public string function which name is delete employee. Here write the path variable value. You have to write a id long id. So you have already discussed. So path variable out right here. You write like this. The path variable. What is the id you are typing? Delete. What is the id you are coming here? Particular task we need to delete. So here open and close bracket. Here write this is a boolean type. Boolean delete task. Here write delete task equal. You have to what's the id come in the front end, it passing to the service task service dot delete task return. We have to get the message. You can return the id which is a boolean true or false. I'm going to return as deleted message. Right. Okay, so here I want to create the delete task method which is on the task service. You select this, click on the bulb symbol, create the method. Right, the method is created successfully. Now I'm going to go to task impl. I'm going to implement that method. Click on this, click on this bulb symbol, implement methods. This method I am going to implement it. Right, this method has been implemented successfully. Now what's the id is coming from the controller. First you have to check it. So if how to check to repo. So task repo, there's a predefined method on the task repo existing by id. So the id you have to pass into here. So it will be checked whether the employees exist or not. Whether this task is or not employee, the task IDs exist in that table or not before in the record. If it is exist, you have simply task repo dot there is a predefined method delete by id. What's the id you are retrieving over here? That id passing here. Right, which is the JPA we are handling simple way. Okay, the JPA. This JPA repository. There is a collection of method. We have to call that method. When you save the record and view the record over here, you delete the record. There will be the predefined method. Okay, when you find the record, or if you want to whether the IDs exist in the table or not, all things here this predefined method. We know this method which what does is it will be return the correct. Right? So delete by ID, it will be delete the record. So delete all from task table via the ID. The same query, this query, it will be written. Right? If the ID is exists. If the ID is not exist, go to the else part. You have to write it here. Employee ID not found. That's it. You return false. Right. Now let's run and check it whether it's working fine or not. Right, if there is no error. So this is your task controller, this is your endpoint, right? So let's go here. I'm going to get another one. The same thing, the task, the endpoint only the different. Let's copy it. Plus symbol here you have to there is a delete mapping paste it over the URL. This one should be the delete. What's the endpoint? This one, delete this ID. Copy it here. You will paste it over. It's a delete ID. This ID. Which ID? I'm going to delete the task. I'm going to this one. Task ID 2. I'm going to delete. So I have to write here task 2. Click send button. Deleted. Here, deleted successfully. Now back to my get all task. Get all tasks. Click send button here. Only the one record will be exist. Another one is a deleted. So the delete operation works successfully, right? So how the flow works, what you have to understand. When the delete what ID you are typing, it will be passing to the service. Service will be task service will be passing the task service IMPL, retrieve the ID. If the IDs exist, you are checking by the repo. The IDs exist. If you are called the delete by ID here, delete by ID, the record is deleted. Okay, the record is deleted. If the record is deleted, right? Okay, simple. I hope you understood things well. I'll see you in my next video tutorial. Thank you.